Hello. Today we're going to be going through the Action Research Project for EDSA 530. A few things I'd like to point out about your Action Research Project. I think it should be relevant to your situation, and I want it to be enjoyable and meaningful for you. The specifics are outlined in a file on the course site, Action Research Project Overview, which also contains some important appendices that you'll need to complete the project. It's worth 35% of your grade. You may work on it on your own or with a partner. It's due in stages, and it's due for your cohort on Sunday, May 11th. You should have watched a little overview of what Action Research is, and just to review quickly, Action Research is the process of studying a real school or classroom situation to understand and improve the quality of actions or instruction. Because our course is about community relations, we're going to explore how well your school or organization communicates with the public, the internal and external public. Action research has a number of stages. Central to all good research is the question. What is it that you're trying to investigate? Normally, there would be, after the development of a question, a review of the literature to find out what people already know, what researchers have already uncovered about this topic. Because this is an abbreviated course, we're going to skip this step so that you can learn the mechanics of the rest of the process. An action plan has been created for you. You're going to use that action plan to go out and collect some data, analyze your findings, and then present your findings on the course site. Our research question is the following. What are the perceptions of stakeholders regarding your educational organization, that is, your school or university, and how may these perceptions guide a plan for the development of a new policy or an improvement of an existing policy? And by this I mean a communications policy. Some of you have discovered already that you don't have communications policies, or you may discover one that's pretty old, or you may have an up-to-date one, but they can always be improved. Step one in the process is to understand your organization's communications policy or public relations plan. On the week of February 9th, during that week, we will attempt to locate this plan if it exists. If you do find one, you should read it, familiarize yourself with it, discuss it with one or more colleagues, understand some of the history of how it evolved. If no plan ever existed, find out, was there ever a requirement for one, or is it not required there? Do you think it would be a good idea to have one? Why, in other words, why hasn't there been one developed? Next, you should select one individual, ages 18 or older, from each of the following groups. Group 1 consists of internal publics. These are people that work for your school or organization. They might be an administrator, someone in the central office. They might be faculty members, teachers, staff members, other individuals, cafeteria workers, basically anyone that works for the school. And group 2 should be external publics. These are parents, community members, business people, club members, anyone possibly related to the school, but not actually an employee. When you're considering these stakeholders, you may wish to consider the community power structures. Morbaggin and Gallagher defined these as people of influence who try to shape community decisions in ways that either protect or advance their interests and do both. Normally, they are leaders. They exhibit intelligence and leadership characteristics. They're people that others look up to. And they are influential in determining the fate of your school or other organization. For example, business leaders sometimes will be useful in donating funding to schools or projects that they appreciate. Labor leaders, influential parents can help spread word about particular projects that the school would like publicized, for example. news leaders, and not just newspapers, but nowadays we have to think in terms of influential bloggers, for example, for social media, government officials, school boards. These are what I mean by community power structures. And if you would like to approach one of these, if you have a good relationship with these individuals, that would be encouraged. Step 2 in the process is to identify 2 stakeholders to interview and obtain their permission. So you're going to do a verbal ask, 2 if you're working alone, 4 if you're working with a partner. And again, consider the categories of internal and external. When you do the ask, or ask them some important ideas to convey, or that you're doing this for a class, it's completely voluntary. It'll take about 15 to 20 minutes of their time, and it's confidential. Only pseudonyms will be used and not real names. This is an important point to follow. At no time other than when they submit the consent form should there be a real name that I see when your project is uploaded. An appropriate pseudonym to use for participants might be Participant 1 or Participant A. If they agree, print out 2 copies of the interview consent form, which is located in Appendix A of that overview document that I mentioned. Ask each participant to sign one, scan the forms in with their signatures, and upload them by March 2nd. You'll see this on your syllabus. If you're working with a partner, upload only the 2 forms for the 2 participants that you will interview.